Hello everyone, welcome back to Grow Roots. This is Shannon, and today we're going to be walking through the garden mid-January after we just survived a very massive cold front that hit and brought temperatures into the single digits for us, with wind chills in up to, like, I don't know, we were up to like -9 wind chill factors. And so I wanted to take you through the backyard garden and the front garden and let you know what survived and what didn't, and what I did to protect everything, which I did do a YouTube short on how to protect your garden from those massive cold fronts moving in. But please check that out, and here are the after effects. So I basically I mulched everything that wasn't really rated down to a zone like 7, because that's the temperatures we were expecting, down to zone 7 temperatures. And so I mulched everything that was rated above a zone 7, like a zone 8. And I also I covered in the front garden. I didn't do it to the back garden, but in the front garden I covered my winter annuals with frost cloth, and I covered the perennials that I had just planted in the front garden with frost cloth as well. The perennials that I just planted 3 months ago in the back garden, I did not cover with frost cloth. I kind of wanted to see the difference between the two, and so that's what we're going to do today. So first I wanted to look at this sedum. It's Mr. Goodbud sedum, and I think it's going to be just fine. I've never had sedum before. Oh, here's Chloe. If you didn't see my previous, I think, December tour, you know that we have an outside cat now. Her name is Chloe. She chose us, and she stays outdoors. She survived the polar vortex too. But anyway, here's that Mr. Goodbud sedum, and yeah, I think it's going to be okay. Obviously, it's going to lose its foliage, which I think they do anyway in the colder temperatures, and we'll just have to wait and see. I did mulch this with a pine bark mulch. And then the Mexican petunias as well are perennials that were planted 3 months ago-ish. And also they're, I think, only rated down to a zone 8. So I did mulch those pretty well. As you can see, the foliage has kind of died off. They did really well until this polar vortex, but we'll just see. We'll see if those bounce back. Definitely that foliage has seen better days. This is a recently planted as well double play spirea, a candy corn spirea. So it's deciduous. So I expected it to lose its leaves in this polar vortex. So I think it will be just fine. For sure. It's just fine. Hi, Chloe. Okay. So plumbago, serrata stigma, that's rated down to zone 7, I'm pretty sure. I think it will be just fine. And I have another one over there. The dianthus are amazing. Still evergreen. And gosh, the new growth wasn't even affected. Can you believe that? What a rock star dianthus is. Wow. And there's another one right there. This hibiscus is a perennial, but again, I've mentioned that I think that it possibly went into transplant shock when I planted it in October and passed and died away. But we will find out if it comes back in the spring. My jasmine vines, that's right. Okay, so jasmine for me here in zone 8, it dies, the vine itself dies back every single year. And this is exactly how I know that this part of the vine has died. It gets this like bronzy color, and then it goes like limp this way. Down here's another reason that I know that this vine died. It split at the bottom. When I see that the vine has split, I know the vine is dead. So this vine might have survived because I don't see any split. But that's what jasmine does. It's not dead, it's alive in the roots. And I just wanted to show you that's definitely a dead vine right there. If I follow it down, I will probably see that vine split somewhere, which I don't see, but I do know, I've had enough experience with Confederate star jasmine in the winter to know that this top part of the vine is probably dead. So yeah, There's some jasmine that I had that did survive though. This one did a little bit better, especially down here. It's nice and green. So I don't see any splitting in any of the vines down there. So I think this foliage though, this looks kind of dead. We'll see. But this is what it does. It'll grow back in the summer. I had strawberries. They did just fine. They'll be good. Rosemary did just fine. Blue agave that I received as a baby from a friend that had a baby. And I did mulch this. I was worried about it in the pot, but it looks perfect. It's great. Texas sage. Okay, so Texas sage is rated down to zone 8. We were expecting zone 7 temperatures. And so you can see inside it has defoliated pretty well. Okay, so moving on, sunshine ligustrum, perfectly fine. Look at it. It didn't defoliate. It is still green and yellow, and even this new growth is pretty good. Let's see if I can focus on it. There we go. A little bit red at the tip, but still, wow. There's a little bit of burn right there. That's it. It's amazing, y'all. This jasmine vine actually looks pretty good. It's nice and green down here, which is surprising. Up here, not so much. This other Texas sage, again, defoliated in the middle of it quite a bit, but still pretty good, especially since it's rated for zone 8. Okay, so pink muley grass, just fine. Another jasmine vine, just fine. This vine over here, I don't know about. It is a coral honeysuckle that was planted again 3 months ago, and I came to look at it. Let's see if the vine split anywhere. Yeah, I feel like it did. That could be some damage, which is a bummer. It looks okay. I don't know. We'll just have to see. It's kind of sad right now. But I think I want to say coral honeysuckle was rated down to zone 7 or zone 6. So it should have made it, but it was recently planted. That tip looks pretty bad. It's damaged for sure. So we will see. Cannas are done. That's to be expected. I'm going to take these out right here and right here. But yeah, those cannas are done. And then let's move over here and see how the Tangerine Beauty Crossvine did. I did learn that the leaves turn a little bit purple in the winter time. I hope that's normal. You will see these vines right here that obviously have split and are damaged. These are old jasmine vines because they used to be on these trellises. So don't worry about that. That's jasmine. This is the Tangerine Beauty vine. It looks fine. Look at Chloe. Hi. That was funny. Oh, sweet girl. You just want some love. Yes. Okay. Back to gardening. She's distracting me. But all in all, they look pretty good. They are definitely bronzy, redishy, and the leaves are a little bit droopy and a little curly. But this is my first season with them. They are supposed to be perfectly evergreen in the wintertime here, and I have neighbors. There she is. I have neighbors that have Tangerine Beauty Crossvine, and it has actually overtaken a pergola. So they've survived many summers here and doing just fine. So I do think, I have confidence this vine will be good. And yeah, coming over here, obviously the cannas are done. This is, I believe, Everillo Carex, doing amazing. Can't even tell that it's been through a cold snap. This is Amaryllis, hardy to zone 8B. We had zone 7 temperatures, and I mulched it heavily. I do see I'm losing the foliage, so we will just see if it survives. I hope it does. I hope it comes back and blooms for me in the spring. So daylilies done, purple heart done. That's to be expected. The hydrangeas are just fine, but they're finally losing their leaves. They were doing really good up until then, to be honest. They normally lose their leaves earlier for me. And then coming back here, we are losing light, so I will be pretty quick. Coming back here, Turk's cap is done, which is to be expected. Oak leaf hydrangea is just fine. Wow. I expected it to completely defoliate with this cold snap, and it just hasn't. It's doing okay. It's so awesome. I love oak leaf hydrangeas. And then this is the kaleidoscope abelia, doing just fine as well. Little spindly, losing some of its inner leaves for sure, but it's okay. And then this is red oxalis, which I think I've never had red oxalis before, but as a perennial, I think it went dormant. I hope it didn't die. And the same thing with Mexican petunia. Back here, it is done. Hopefully it will come back. I have many neighbors that have these, and they have survived, again, down to -degree temperatures, so I think they'll be okay. But they are only rated down to a zone, I think a zone 7B or AA. So we will have to see with the Mexican petunias. All in all, back here in the back garden, for not having frost cloth, everything has done pretty well. Oh, one last thing to show you, which did surprise me. The jasmine vine that I have over here is fine. It's shocking, really, and a little bit frustrating because it would never survive on this trellis for me, but I moved one of the plants here in a pot, which makes it even more vulnerable. And then it's going up this pole, and look at it. It's beautiful. It's fine. It's amazing. I did mulch it heavily, but I mean, that jasmine took that cold snap like a champ. So that's really awesome. So yeah, this is the backyard. Okay, so moving on to the front garden, I covered this with frost cloth. I also covered these with frost cloth. And this is amazing. This is vinca that looks like it survived. Look, it's not mush. It's got, I can't believe that with frost cloth we had probably, what, it was 9 degrees, but wind chill -5. Of course, the limelight is right here. It's fine. The lantana is here. I have no idea if it will survive, but it was covered with frost cloth. And then the pansies are just fine. The blooms are a little bit burned. Dianthus, I think, was right here, and it's a little bit. The blooms are done. It'll rebloom though. Look at that nice green foliage. So those are totally fine. I have jasmine down here as well, and yeah, it's toast. This even had frost cloth, but see how the vine split. So unfortunately, that vine is done. Any vine that splits like that one, yep, it's done. So that's just what jasmine does. I mean, even when it's covered, which this one was covered, but yep, it'll be alive at the roots, just the whole vine will die, which is unfortunate because it got up in that espalier. Oh well. The liriope I mulched, it's pretty good. Boxwoods, they did decent. There was a lot of new growth on the boxwoods because we had spring-like temperatures in December, and so it grew a lot, and so that new growth is a little bit frostbitten for sure, but the boxwoods will be fine. And then I wanted to show you, wow, look, my Dusty Miller and my pansies are fine. They were blooming so profusely before, and obviously the blooms are probably done, and that's okay, but the plant itself is perfect. The Dusty Miller, you can't even tell it's been through a cold snap. Well, this one, that one's a little bit sad, but for the most part, look at that. That's amazing. It was covered with frost cloth, I will say, and mulched. No, I didn't mulch this, actually. But it did have these leaves and stuff. Even the May-night salvia, because it was covered, I covered this whole bed pretty much, and it's still green, but normally by now it would be dormant. I have lemon ball sedum. That's okay, I think. Pansies in there are just fine. Those did get covered. And then I have some perennials that I covered. They were just planted 3 months ago, and they're salvias, and it's still green. Look at that. It's amazing. There's a daylily and I think another salvia that, yeah, maybe just the daylily that I'm missing. And then another salvia over there that's still green as well. It's amazing. Dianthus doing awesome. I wanted to show you, oh, there we go. I have daffodils coming up. And so those were mulched pretty well. But I have another over there. It's fine. Totally fine. So here's some May-night salvia that's still green. So, and then here's my sunshine ligustrum. Doing just fine. There's Dusty Miller and the pansies. So yeah, it's amazing that the May-night salvia is still green. So, oh, one more thing. This is English ivy that is still perfectly fine. This dianthus is okay. And the hydrangeas obviously are losing their leaves, but they will be just fine. All right, guys, so I have officially pretty much lost my light. It is dusk at the moment, and I just wanted to thank you for watching this video and coming along with me as I walked through the garden to see how it survived these frosty, super cold temperatures and wind and all of the things that we got. But thank you so much. I hope that you will subscribe so that you can see more of my videos. I would greatly appreciate it. I thank you guys for all of your support, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.